Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to something, dare I say, very special. Because this is a first for me, and a first for this community. I get to stream the very first official Airship Adrift PvP Tournament, hosted by me. Yeah. We're currently setting up the very first match of this. Bracket, by the way, is available over on Challenge. I should probably set that up so it's shown, but at least on YouTube it's in the description. And sadly, one of our two players is currently unavailable. He's offline and hasn't been seen. So we are just trying to get this set up. But should he not appear until quarter past, we will have to consider that match forfeited, and we will move on the next one. And while I'm already here, I will just get ourselves the bracket. I mean, that would... Oopsala. That would probably be the better choice. Yeah, we're gonna do that. So, I will turn the lovely, soothing piano music up again, and we will get to match 2 instead. So, the time has finally come, ladies and gentlemen. The time is right. Our contestants are about to be ready. They are ready. Let me give you the lobby screen. And off we go into the very first match of this tournament. Oh, works. Let me just put. And there we go. We are in our very first match. Don't mind me. I'm just the camera guy. So I will just put that ship like over there. And instead, let's us begin. On the blue team in the blue corner on the left in the lobby, we have Blade Viridian flying the Albacore and Mana Griffin flying this loadout. Going up against Tanuki with his Leon Stallion called Gluton with this loadout. Very interesting. And let's hope I can get the camera into decent position. Oh, not quite. There we go. And it seems that broadside strafing has become the meta. Actually, not quite, as the Gluton is indeed charging in. And there we have it, the first shots fired of this tournament. Right. Wait, he doesn't have any. Oh, he has a few of those, okay. Oh, but it seems that the red team will take the victory here, as Blade Viridian sadly gets deleted out of the sky, and I will now take my camera and go die. So you'll now you can now watch me valiantly charge the enemy, but it will be Tanuki obtain the victory in, well, technically match number 2, but the first match visible on the stream. And Tanuki will now be moving on. But he surrendered it. I don't know. So yeah, depending on which team wins, the camera will always be on the blue team. So, should the red team win, they just need to beat up the camera really quick. Come on, you have more pro. And there we go. With this, we conclude match number 1. Well, 2. With, once again, Tanuki in his Blade Viridian, in his Gluton, obtaining the victory, and I will be right back once I have the next match ready. Hopefully it will be match 1, but if it isn't, we'll be moving on to match 3. So then, enjoy some more soothing piano music once it is back. And there we are, there we go. I should remember to unmute myself also on the mic if I press the button on the mic. Yes, we are going into the second, we are going to match number 3, the second match that will be streamed here. And I'm expecting a very good match here. To be fair, these two that are in the lobby right now are some very good players, I think. Let's just hope it works. Is the one thing I'm concerned about. I received 1 of 2, that's good start. Okay. But apart from, I mean, yes, you've missed the first stream match here, Trevor, but apart from that, nothing really. One of the 2 is not loading. Yep, okay, yeah, we're experiencing some minor technical difficulties. I will be restarting my game really quick. And for the moment, it's my chance, so I can... you will get the typical soothing music that I tend to use by other streams. So yeah, music will be coming, and we'll be going on break for a moment. And with that, it is time for us to go into the very next match number 2, for the second time. This time it hopefully works. Fingers crossed. So, let's see if this does what it's supposed to be. That's the loading sound. My ship is loading. So, one thing I can definitely say is, my ship takes considerably less time to load. Just by virtue of being considerably smaller. So, let's hope. Okay, one ship from one guy is in. There we go. We appear to be in. Very nice indeed. I will just put my camera over there. And there we go. On the blue team, even though he should be on red, we have Soren the Pie Destroyer with his Wonderbolt flying, Leon Stallion flying this lovely loadout. And in the opposite side, in the red corner, even though he should be on blue, we have Mayhem with his Major Pain Stone Dragon sporting, ooh, a very interesting loadout. Not gonna lie. Okay then. Someone's having problems. I don't know if this is my internet. Considering my bitrate is still rather high, it's probably not my internet, but Mayhem is lagging quite extensively. Also, at the moment there's like no free ghost camera for me, so I do have to attach my camera to one of the two players. I will be focusing on Mayhem in this one, as the Wonderbolt is coming in. Question, Soren, how much point defense do you have? I see 2 kinetic beams. That might not be... Oh, and 2 serpentines. That could also do some damage there. And there we go. We have the first shots fired as the wasps go out. But the thing... Oh, actually. Dorothy gets intercepted. Now the engagement is going. I will turn the game audio down a little bit, just so that you can actually still hear my voice. Shield is down on both ships. And actually no, I still don't really have a clear victor. What I can definitely say is the Wonderbolt is considerably faster than the Major Pain. But what Mayhem needs to be really careful about right now is he has built a one-sided ship. All of his weapons are pointing towards the right side, so the starboard side. While his port side is completely vulnerable. If you take a look at this, it's only mana canvas, which has no resistance and no health, and his shields, together with all the armories, which will explode once they get struck by something. His right side, his starboard side, is very nicely armored, with loads of Teutonic plating here. But he is... Oh, that actually... probably won't be hit, but that is a very... that is rather weak link. And he has workshops behind it. Also, that's something worth pointing out. The Major Pain has 20 repair teams, while the Wonderbolt only has 8. So the Major Pain can sustain quite a lot of damage. Okay, what we see now from both players is their shields are coming back online. Slowly. They're not fully up yet, but they are in the process of coming back. And there we go, we see Island hitbox being a bit finicky. But there we go, we have the second engagement going. With the Major Pain's missiles being mostly shot out of the air by the Wonderbolt's point defense, even though that point defense mostly consists of the serpentines. And if you watch the devs versus players matches, you know that serpentines were oppressive. Okay, but I think this is the turning point here. Yeah, as you can see, the Major Pain is taking a lot of damage from the Wonderbolt. The shields are down, the weapons are getting destroyed. It got to its core. Take a look at this. You can see that it's getting to the drives in the center of the ship. And usually, if you get to that point where where the inner compartments are being touched, you're essentially dead. And with that, and you can still hear the explosions, hopefully in the right channel. It will be Soren the Pie Destroyer in his Wonderbolt, obtaining the victory here in match number 3, moving on to the semi-finals. And we here will now be moving on into match number 4, where we will have Jay going up against Nukapu. And as the last time, I will be sending you once again to my lovely Wintergatan music. And we will be right back. So, cutting the music a bit short, sadly. But the time has come. We are loading into our very next match, match number 4. And after this one, as it currently seems like Captain Galaxy still hasn't awakened, please, 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 everyone who listens to this, message Captain Galaxy and tell him to wake up, please. I don't want to forfeit that match. But if he hasn't arrived when we're done with this one, I will have to forfeit it. So, but let's focus on this one. It's the very next match. And this is probably going to be a very interesting one, as I do believe these two practice against each other. Ship, one on the blue. We have, even though he's called Pence here, it's Jay with his Twinkle Twinkie. A Mana Griffin flying this loadout. And on the opposing side in red, we have Nukapu with his Mana. Another Mana Griffin, unpainted, flying this loadout. Oh, that is a lot of torpedoes. Okay, we're focusing on Twinkle Twinkie here. Oh, also brought torpedoes, and props to Jay here. That is not a totally one-sided build, unlike the ones we have seen from, for example, Mayhem and also the Mana. in from Nukupo here, who have all the weapons facing one side. This Jay actually put the effort in and made a mostly dual-sided build. You can see that there is a weakness here because his singular shield is on the starboard side, but he only really has forward-facing weapons there, so it should be fine. So that if that torpedo hits, no, okay. But Jay went with the armor by having no armor approach, it would appear, as he only has mana canvas, which is no armor. Oh, and his opponent has 4 shields and a lot of rockets. So it seems that the two players agreed to a certain extent to use a lot of torpedoes, which are at the moment considered to be a rather weak weapon. Also, that is a lot of torpedoes coming out there. So we have the mana going more for a projectile weapon, especially rockets and torpedoes, while the Twinkle Twinkie focused more on energy weapons, especially on the side. And 4. Only 4. Yes, 4 forward-facing mana cannons. And it seems that the energy weapons from the Twinkle... What's my camera doing there? Twinkie will actually be enough to just completely burn through whatever shields were available on the mana and absolutely annihilate it. And with that, it will be Jay obtaining the victory here in match number 4. And judging by the fact that Captain Galaxy still hasn't appeared, we'll probably be going into the first semifinal match in just a moment. But until then, once again, enjoy some more music. That was actually a rather perfectly timed break, I have to say, as I could start the very next match as the song ended. Isn't that timing? So, Captain Galaxy had 50 minutes about to show up. He has not, so sadly I have to consider his match forfeited. But that means we will be moving on into the first semi-final now, where it will be, first of all, it will be best of 3. And second of all, here in the blue corner, flying the little Dragoness, the Stone Dragon, we have Aika. Flying this loadout. And over on the other side, in the red corner, we have Tanuki with his Gluton, a Leon Stallion, flying this loadout. That is an awful lot of shields, actually. That is 11 shields. My guy, you can't sustain that. That's something worth pointing out, with so many shields. But first of all, what you can already see here is what the combat meta has kinda become, is since most ships are broadside builds, you turn your broadside early and then strafe into the enemy. You can see Aika doing that here. Tanuki not so much, and Aika's weapons are already opening up here. Tanuki has an awful lot of shields. And he's also using energy weaponry? No, his weapons aren't firing yet. Now they are. But you will see that his energy should drain here. And he's getting torn apart by the broadside cannon batteries and serpentines of the little Dragoness. And you can see he has already stopped dead in his tracks. His energy is diminishing. That's the bar on the right here. And there we go. The match is already over. And that means that Aika takes the victory in match number 1. And we will be very quickly going into match number 2. And there we go, we are going into the very next match already. This will be round 2 of match number 5, the first semi-final. And Tanuki has once again solidified his request for a heavy frigate match. So once again, I'm fairly certain that we will see the same ships again. I will introduce them nonetheless, because that is what I'm supposed to do. Also, it seems like the stigma from the Death vs. Play is not carrying over. So, in the blue corner, we once again have Aika flying her little Dragoness, which once again carries this loadout. And on the other side, in the red corner, we once again have Tanuki with his gluten, but this time gluten... Oh, a gluten facing the other side. Seems like he went for a lot of cannons. And there we are. Actually, we can see already a bit of a change here in Tanuki's playstyle. He turned his broadside earlier this time, and is currently on a course where they will eventually. Yes, indeed, I need to. Well, for now you just had my lovely voice, but now you also have gameplay. You don't have missed a whole lot. Dragoness is the same, and the gluten is just this time facing to the starboard side instead of port side. Also, these matches are streamed without delay. Because there's literally no benefit to stream sniping. Or there's no point to stream sniping. Okay, it seems like the Little Dragoness will get the first volley off, but this time around we have more of a broadside engagement. You will see, actually, the Gluton is dealing an awful lot of damage here, and has already taken out a good chunk of the Little Dragoness here. Look at here, this whole entire section has been destroyed. And it may... Oh, and yeah, you see, that just hit the generators. So the energy is diminishing. And it seems like this one will be... Oh, but the Gluton also has taken an awful lot of damage there. So it's the Little Dragoness has lost its stern, while the Gluton has lost its bow. Well, the Dragoness has also lost its port side. So, I don't quite know how this will go out. It seems at the moment that the Dragoness has the... Okay, they have 22 repair teams. While the Gluton has 1. Oh. Well, this might go... I don't know how this will go out. Like, it really depends on how much weaponry the players have on the sides they are facing. So, with this, with both players having essentially no energy to... Wait, why is she not moving? Everything appears to be fine. Oh! Well, I think it might have been slightly... Well, I personally missed it. But, the Gluton has taken that little bit of too much damage and is taken out. And with that, it is Aika obtaining the victory here overall in this best of 3, as she has now won twice. So it will be Aika moving on to the finals. And we are now going to do the other semi-final, where we will be having Soren the Pie Destroyer going up against Jay. And I will once again send you onto a short break. And there we go. We are going back into the match, and this is the second semi-final. And the players have agreed on something very interesting, which I very much appreciate. They will be doing corvettes in the first match, light frigates in the second match, if we get to a third match, which I absolutely hope, we will be seeing another heavy frigate match. So in this very first one, it will be corvettes, and they appear to not load. And since the caster failed to cast, we will have to restart, so just another short break. Sorry. And with that, this once again, hopefully, well, I'm loading, so that is very good. We are going into the second semi-final first round. Well, first match, I don't quite know how to call this, and we are in. It's a corvette match, which I very much appreciate. And in the blue corner, we have Soren the Pine Destroyer flying his Spear of Destiny, which is an Aetherhawk Mark II. Sporting this very one-sided loadout. And on the opposite corner, in red, we have Pence flying his Surprise, which is a Lindworm corvette, generally referred to as Turtle. And I see why this ship is called Surprise. It's entirely forward-facing and it has Surprise torpedoes. So... interesting. What you can see here is decisions being made on this ship here. He has 4 workshops, he has 1 Tungsten Dynamo, he has a lot of forward speed, turning isn't too good for a corvette, and most importantly, he has an exposed armory on the back. These things explode when they die. And this is his only source of ammo. Actually, he also has 2 small armors here, which are exposed. So, if he gets shot at, he will most likely die rather quickly, if he can't deal enough damage. And what we see on both sides here, first of all, that is a lot of rockets, and Jay has already lost his shields. Both players went for a shield, and I think, yeah, that rocket volley was already enough to just finish Jay off, as his armor just couldn't tank that much damage, and also I think a few of the rockets just went around the armor, as he only had it in the very front of the ship, but there were still parts of the side of that. And mana canvas is not armor. It's like not even... It's almost as if it doesn't exist. And with this very quick one, we'll be going to the second round. Okay then, time for round 2 of the second semi-final. This time around we will be seeing light frigates, which is a ship class that mostly gets dropped, I have to say. And now I really have to think how these ships are called. Well, starting off, we have Sorin the Pie Destroyer in his Victoria Magpie, which is the AK light frigate, whose name I forgot, flying this loadout. Going up against, in the red corner against Jay with his Apple Pie, which is a new Viridian Corsair. Corsair going with this loadout, very interesting actually. Very port-sided. And once again, no armor whatsoever. This will be a very interesting one, and I, this time, will be changing to the blue perspective. So the Victoria Magpie is actually a dual-sided build, even though these shields are not really protected, and that's a torpedo. Which actually impacts on the shields. That's, I'm not quite sure, someone would need to confirm this, but I think in the recent battle patch, the health of torpedoes was increased to a slightly ridiculous amount, to make sure that it's very difficult to shoot them out of the sky with point defense. And basically make one of the only viable options to dodge them. And I do believe that they are still relatively easy to dodge. I do hope that we won't see a ring around the rosy around these two islands here. And instead, oh, but there's shots fired. That's a mana cannon hitting and taking out half the shield. Mana cannons are currently the longest range weapons in the game, and I think they also have the highest burst damage. Well, single shot damage. And if they tend to hit rather hard. And the Victoria Magpie hasn't really been able to get off any shots at the Apple Pie yet. Also, I think these two players talk to each other regarding their ship names. Oh, that might be a very well-aimed torpedo. But with the Serpentines... I assume he has Serpentines. Yes, he does. There's 2 Serpentines. He is able to just shoot it out of the sky. Oh, will we see the first engagement? Actual engagement. Well, it seems the apple pie is up for it, as he has positioned itself accordingly, and he is strafing away while the Victoria Magpie is strafing in, trying to get each other's weapons to bear. And that tends to be what happens in most games. Whoever outranges the other one just strafes away, while the person with the shorter range tries to strafe in. But there's a lot of strafing going on in the current combat, or how the current combat works. Magpie turning the fresh broadside here, as he does have to. But still, he has not really been able to get a lot of damage onto the apple pie here, as his shields are still fully up, and also his ammo is still rather full. So we'll see how this goes. And another volley goes out. This time also some returning fire, but I think Jay might actually win this one on the technicality of having more range and more ranged weaponry. And Soren not really being able to bring his weaponry to bear. A volley fired. Shield is down, so these will deal damage. And these deal plenty of damage. He has 9 repair teams, that's plenty. Oh, but now he's taking even more damage into the front there. One of the shields actually got damaged. Like the shield components got damaged. Checking what the camera is doing. Okay. So far, I only had to get the camera killed once. So maybe the camera curse is gone. That is damage. Damage will be displayed in a big red number. And you can also see like the blue number with the people icon next to it. That is the crew being diminished by getting hit with large caliber weapons. Even though I don't think it's currently working. Correctly, at least. But damage the big red number is the damage number. Yeah, I mean, that's the mana cannons. And also, all the damage dealt over a short period of time is just added up. So, if you just constantly have weapons firing, the damage number displayed can go into the hundreds or even the millions. Oh, this might be the shot he's been waiting for. He's strafing in, and there we go. He's finally getting his weaponry to bear. But I think we will absolutely get punished for it. Okay, Apple Pie's shields are down. Oh, and Soren has got bishoped. He has run to an island and has bishoped himself, as we like to say here. And now those torpedoes might actually land. Yes, the torpedoes are landing. And all the other weaponry is firing as well. Even the point defense is now going in, as the apple pie is just strafing closer and closer to essentially help with the whole accuracy thing. And there we go. Soren is sadly destroyed. And now it's my turn to die. See what my ship is doing. I will quickly go over to my camera and make sure that it's going roughly the correct way. And we'll get shot down by the apple pie. So that's like the one thing that not really having a spectator mode currently gets us. You are able to change your camera, which I find very nicely, because that enables me to actually cast. But I still need to be physically in the match, and that's also why this tournament is 1v1. I would have preferred to make it 3v3, but it's not gonna happen. Because, well, I also want to be in to cast the matches. And with that, it will be Jay taking the victory in the second match. Second round of the second semifinal, and we will now be going into round number 3, heavy frigates. Wars 101 right now. Let's see who obtains the victory. And this is it. This will be the final round of the second semi-final. And here we are in. Camera goes to the side once more. Ship on the blue side, we once again meet Soren the Pie Destroyer flying the Wonderbolt, which is a Leon Stallion, sporting this loadout. And on the other side, in red, we have Jay, immediately turning broadside, with his Ghidorah, Stone Dragon, sporting this loadout. Oh, very nice loadout. This is essentially a one-sided build, with a bit of forward, but also a lot of port side. But more importantly, when anything gets on his close onto his starboard side, he has those dual triple torpedo pods to just torpedo anything that dares to be on the starboard side into oblivion. So we'll see how this one goes. Wonderbolt is charging in forwards. He has no forwards facing weapons. It's a very fast ship and he's a very decent turning for a heavy frigate. Yeah. It seems like Soren will be preparing his broadside here. Jaro will fire, or Jay will fire off his mana torpedoes, but those are very ambitious, I have to say. As Soren can just stop. That's something. Acceleration is, of course, so-so. But you can just stop these ships more or less in an instance. Let's have those overlapping. Okay. I think we'll see Jay once again firing his forward-facing mana torpedoes. And a lot of position. Okay, what you can see here is I am so often I'm just pointing at the screen. I need to stop doing that. Okay, we can see Soren over here strafing in, but now we have Jay facing his broadside. We have the broadside change, and so it's I don't know really. What we can definitely see is that the Ghidorah has brought a lot of cannons and missiles, while Soren, or the Wonderbolt, is mostly focused on cannons, really. Actually. Oh yeah, there's a few Seeker missiles. There's 4 Seeker missiles. well, the Wonderbolt is mostly cannons and serpentines, and also howitzer. That singular howitzer might do a lot of damage. But, I mean, the Wonderbolt is currently taking all the heat as the Seeker missiles do what the name implies. They seek. And they will hit the Wonderbolt, and in this case it was in the ass. And one thing that is worth pointing out is, there's actually priority to the repair teams. Repair teams will always repair guns last. I'm not quite sure about the priorities, but guns will be repaired last. So as long as you kill anything else, the guns will not be repaired. Oh, but this might be the engagement that favors the Wonderbolt here. Soren. As Jay comes in and is not in an angle where he can really bring his broadside to bear. And that is it. With a bit of a tactical error, as he came into an angle where he couldn't get his weapons to bear, Jay loses the final round of this best of 3, and that means that Soren will be moving on to the finals, where he will meet Ica. But for now, I will be doing something. First of all, I will be taking a very short break, because I'm still human and I do need to do other things. And the other thing is, we will be doing the bronze match first. So the very next match that you will get to see here is the bronze match between Tanuki and Jay. Until then, I wish you all a very good, and we will be back in just a moment once I have those matches ready. Until then, enjoy some more of my lovely Wintergatan music. And with that, it is time for not the finals, but for the bronze match, which will also be a best of 3. And in the lobby right now, on the blue side, we have Tanuki with his Rocket Boy, which is of a new Viridian Corsair, flying this very one-sided build. And his opponent in the red corner will be a Jay flying the Piketty Pack, which is a Victory Falcon. Thank you very much, Aika, for that. Flying this loadout here, which is actually, that's an all-around build. I'm very much impressed. A lot of cannons, but also torpedoes. I think Jay just wants to make a point about torpedoes not being bad. Well, we see how it works out, and once again, well, not once again, but for this one I very much hope that we will get to see all 3 matches, because the players have agreed on Light Frigate first match, Heavy Frigates second match, and Gunboats for the third match. And Gunboats for the third match will probably be a very interesting one. At least I hope so. But also just be over very quickly. But a lot of these matches were over rather quickly, I have to say. So, oh yeah, he has a little bit of point defense for his starboard side. But main weaponry, namely 3 mana cannons, once again have the longest range currently in the game. And I think the highest burst, the highest projectile damage per projectile. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. In the game. Let's see if he can play that larger version out. Nah, he probably won't, because those missiles just fired, and those are wasps. With actually not too much less range, but Jay is coming in. He'll be getting his weapons to bear right now. But his shield is already down, while he has just barely scratched the shield of the Rocket Boy. So, it's really interesting how this goes. He's right now, he's playing a bit of a range game, firing his cannons. even though they're mostly missing, which seems to be a common theme with cannons, sadly. They have, as long as both ships are moving at the same pace, it's fine. But as soon as you have difference in velocity and in the vectors, essentially, cannons become wildly inaccurate. Also, once again, I have to point out, Tanuki, your ship isn't painted. According to some people, that would mean your ship is incomplete. Okay, that was the island. Well, this might be Ring Around the Rosie, but around this island here. Oh, that's a large volley. That entirely gets tanked by the island, and also you can see that the hitbox of the island is actually bigger than it visually appears. Because, like, there. Take a look there. There is nothing there. Out there. So, that might be something the devs want to take a look at. But this might be here, the point where one player decides to make a move. It seems Jay wants to make a move. Firing his weapons. But receiving an awful lot of damage. And there go the mana cannons as well. But mostly missed. There's a torpedo incoming. And that torpedo will actually land. But it will all be tanked by the shield. And we can now see that the Packety-Pack has taken an awful lot of damage. Pack. Yeah, indeed, these essentially dead in the water. How is he still moving? Ah, he still has like a few. Let's say a few. A singular. Two operating mana drives. So he still has a bit of movement, but I don't think he has much turning. And I think this is Rocket Boy just coming in for to finish him off. And indeed, that is what happened. So with that, it will be Tanuki obtaining the victory in this first round of the bronze match. And I will now get the second round set up. And there we go, the time has come for the second round of the bronze match. Currently, Tanuki is in the lead with 1 point. Well, and we are loading in. And we are now playing around with heavy frigates. So, Mana Griffin, Leon Stallion, or Stone Dragon. I think you've seen all 3 of those up to this point. I will immediately go into that direction. And there we go. In the blue corner, we once again meet Tanuki. This time around with his Rocket Man. Flying this, it's a Leon Stallion flying this loadout with a lot of rockets and that singular howitzer. And lastly, in the red corner, we have once again Jay with his Twinkle Twinkie, a Mana Griffin, flying this loadout. With those 4 forward-facing mana cannons. That's a very interesting one, and I will attach the camera to the blue team this time. Rocket Man, once again, one-sided build. And an awful lot of wasps. I'm not entirely sure if there's any amount of point defense that can stop this. But Jay has one important advantage that he doesn't use. And that is he could just sit out of the range of Tanuki and shoot him with those mana cannons. Of course, that would be a bit of a dick move, but it's something he could do. Well, but let's see what actually will happen in this match. And it seems that Tanuki has decided to run away. I don't think he's... No, Jay with his Mana Griffin is faster. I will say right now. Of course, the people that are watching that don't know the game have no comparison. But that Mana Griffin is insanely fast. 83 kilometers an hour for Mana Griffin is insanely fast. And we usually don't see it. Oh, Jay gets into range of the wasp and his shield... His shield? His shield is immediately diminished and also damaged. Okay, but Rocket Man, but he reverses a bit. So his mana cannons can shoot, while the Rocket Man can't retaliate. Yeah, you can see that is draining that shield, and now the shield is drained. Oh, this might be lethal for Jay, I think. He has an awful lot of point defense, or he has a good chunk of amount of point defense, as you can see here. But still, the Rocket Man has just so many rockets that I think Jay will just be spammed into next week, as a certain YouTuber likes to say. And I don't think that he's really in a position to recover this, as he has almost lost his entire port side. He has weapons on the starboard side. He could try turning the other broadside. But I don't think he would survive doing so. Yeah, he has backwards facing weapons. What is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. I don't think those backwards facing weapons will do him any good. And here you can see the damage continuously ramping up. But they might do a little bit of damage. So what Jay can do right now is recover. He has 18 repair teams. And less than 18 damage components, it seems. While Tanuki only has 3. So he can very well just run away for a moment and recover. While Tanuki is probably not able to catch up to him. And that way Jay can bring another fresh broadside in, reposition. And actually, no, okay, no. The starboard side is strong side. That was a torpedo. Okay, Mana Griffin, Twinkle Twinkle, Twinkle Twinkie. God damn it. Going around, actually facing the forwards again, and he should start reversing about. He should have started reversing earlier, but he is reversing right now. Oh, but the Rocket Man is strafing very fast. So yes, we see a lot of Mana Cannon Fire going out that will replenish the disable, for lack of better words in my brain, the Rocket Man's shields, as they are right now, and now the Twinkle, the J is coming in. Trying to go for the killing blow, it seems, and oh, this might be bad. For Tanuki here. As he has a lot of lasers on him. These heat lancers and also torpedoes. Yeah, there they go. There are the torpedoes hitting, and he has lost his entire almost his entire weaponry. I think he's actually lost his entire weaponry, and with that, it will be Jay obtaining the victory. And I will just quickly get the camera over here. Actually, over there. So I'll change over there. And start moving. And I will just take this moment to show the camera. This build is designed to be the lightest, the fastest it can be. It has exactly 0 armor and is designed to just die very quick. Which I will do now. I can see camera snapping. Charge. And I can showing the damage off. Let me just strafe a little bit. And there we go. This time around it will be Jay obtaining the victory in the second round of the bronze match with his Twinkle Twinkie. And that means we will be seeing round 3, where the players will be bringing out the gunboats. And I will quickly put that together. And there we go. This time around I will be the fastest, the slowest to load, I think. Actually no. So we are going into the final round of the bronze match, and this time around it will be gunboats, which is the smallest size of ship that exists. And right now in the blue corner we have Tanuki with his Snow Basilisk, called Snow Basilisk, flying 2 kinetic beam projectors in the front. And going up against that is Jay in his Slippy. which is the AK gunboat, whose name I sadly forgot, flying a kinetic beam and a Seeker rocket. Now, worth pointing out with this setup, as I will go back to Tanuki, is that kinetic beam projectors are point defense. So that Seeker rocket should get shot out of the sky. I intentionally say should. Also, it is virtually impossible to put a shield on these ones. So we don't see it. And yeah, we see... did it impact? Oh, it didn't impact. There we go, shots fired. And yeah, this might... Oh, the rocket actually hits because... of course. The rocket hits because the kinetic beam projectors are focused on the ship and not actually acting as point defense then, but it won't really matter as the rocket just got destroyed. And what's this going? And... Okay. Trying to be very slippery. You can't really tell that well what's going on here, but... Let's just say, gunboats might not be the fastest, but they have an incredible amount of turning. You can really spin those things around. And with that, we have Jay defeated, and it will be Tanuki obtaining the victory in the bronze match, meaning that he will land in 3rd place overall. And now we will be going into the finals for today's tournament, where we will see Iker going up against Soren, the Pie Destroyer. So then, we are gonna have a little break once more. And there we go, the time has come. It is time for the finals. Yes, Aika, I know that Jay deceived from the DVC, that is intentional. And speaking of Jay, the man, the myth, the legend, he is here now, joining me for the finals and to face my inevitable questions afterwards.
Right, thank you very much for having me here.
Oh, you're very much welcome. Let's start by introducing our players. On the blue team, we have Aika flying the Small Queen, the Etherhawk Corvette, flying this very interesting build, I have to say. And on the red corner, we find Soren the Pie Destroyer flying the Night Mare, a River Mare Corvette, with this also rather interesting build, I have to say. And both ships are drifting about. Okay, and I think Aika will definitely play, try to use her, I think, substantial range advantage. Let me just check that. 270, 310. Actually, no, the Secret Rocket Rail has the same range as the Mana Cannon. Didn't even notice that. But I think what we will see here is Aika brought a shield and Soren didn't. And I think that will be Soren's demise in this match. He's already lost one of his engine pods. And now he also lost his ass. So I think this match will be over rather shortly.
You can see here that Aika is being very cautious, right?
Yes, yes.
He's not going in for the kill he deserves.
So Soren went with a double-sided build here, not the usual one-sided build, but the River Mara, I mean, if you put mana cannons on it, it can be one-sided, but apart from that, not really. So he just turned in a fresh broadside, but I think he already lost the Seeker Rocket on this side too. Yeah, he did. So now Aika outranges him once again, and she can just turn around and hammer Soren with mana cannons. Wasn't that something that you did in the Death versus Player match?
Yeah, I sort of did that.
Outrage the opponent with mana cannons.
It was designed to be used that way. It's actually mana cannon has like quite a substantially low DPS, to be honest.
Yeah, but it has very high projectile damage.
Yeah.
It's just to make sure that I wasn't talking or saying wrong things earlier. Okay, mana cannons are in range, so are the Seeker missiles and the Serpentines now. But Serpentines, they were nerfed, weren't they?
Yeah, the range was reduced a little bit, but that's pretty much all of it.
Oh, okay. Well, then Soren probably just didn't bring enough of them. Now, once again, he's sitting at a position where Aika can shoot him, but he can't shoot back as all the weapons that could potentially shoot back are destroyed. This might be a very slow and painful death here. As the cannons showcase that they can very much miss everything.
I guess I'm moving in for the kill now.
Yeah, moving a bit closer and forcing the cannons to focus on certain targets, I think. As the mana cannons have a very tight arc.
Yes.
But considering their size and how they're usually mounted, that's to be expected.
Alright.
And with that, the first match is over. And Aika takes round number 1. And we will now be going into round number 2 of the finals, which will also be best of 3. I will take this moment. Since I have you here, how have you been enjoying the evening so far?
Oh yeah, it has been very exciting actually. Get to try things out, and like we did the dev team did learn a lot from the dev versus player sessions, and we do quick fixes just enough to let the rest of the PvP months goes on without anything being too OP,
Mm.
so that we can keep on collecting data. If we didn't do the nerf on the serpentine, the rest of the month is probably going to be a serpentine month, and that's not good. So we have to do it. That's pretty much it actually. And like yeah, the last match, it was quite surprising how oh my god, I'm really bad at this. What's his name again? Sorry.
Soren?
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Like the guy that beat me, Tanuki. Yeah,
Tanuki, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Tanuki appears to know quite a good lot about the game mechanic, and has been using it against me. Yep.
Mm. It appears we lost Soren for a moment, so yeah, I mean, what we definitely saw in a lot of the Death vs. Players matches is that Stone Dragons are very good for PvP.
They,
Because,
they definitely are.
because I think like most of the matches were Stone Dragon battles to some degree.
It's true.
And well,
It's a heavy frigate with the most amount of grids on it. So
yeah, and also with out of the heavy frigates, I'd say the best weapon grid. So, but now it's time to get into the second round, where we will be seeing light frigates. And the third round will be heavy frigates. If we need a third round, that is something we will find out right now.
right.
Right, battle time. So, in the blue corner, we meet Aika once again with the Wayfinder, New Viridian Corsair, sporting triple mana cannons. And over in the red corner, we find Soren flying a Victory Falcon called the Victoria Magpie. With is the same loader that we saw earlier. Let's see how this will go. Well, Aika definitely has the range advantage. I don't think she has the, I don't know about the Soren's mobility, though.
Yep. Well, the inertia balancers, has reduced speed in favor of the what's called maneuverability.
So turning and strafing.
It's strafing mostly.
Oh, okay. So like inertia balancers are the strafing engines.
Yeah.
You could say.
Yes. This, for some reason, like I've been noticing this quite a lot. Every time I see the 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 loadout that Iga just brought into the fight, the guns always turn toward the port for some reasons. For everyone, including me.
Well, I did see 2 starboard side builds earlier today, both of which were brought by Tanuki. But yeah, I absolutely see what you mean. Like most of the builds are port side for some reason. I guess it's just the side people prefer.
I guess so as well, because yeah, there's nothing against doing the opposite.
Yeah. Also, you can see here the Victoria Magpie suffered quite a lot of damage, And actually, its energy was going down for a moment. And when energy runs out, you can't fire, you can't move, you can't shoot, your shields won't replenish. So you're essentially dead. But he's not at that point yet. What I'm also noticing is that the Wayfinder is considerably faster than the Magpie.
Yep.
Oh, trying to hide behind an island, but still getting slapped by the mana cannons. Serpentine's doing very well at just being point defense. And that isn't a lot of damage onto the Magpie here. Did he really try just charging in? I think Ico will let him do that. Okay, and we have devolved into the usual combat meta of strafe towards the enemy. Which I find really rather interesting. That's like the one big unique thing about this game. The ability to strafe.
Yeah, I mean, like, and this is something that like without the tutorial, like new players wouldn't know that it exists. So we're trying to do something about that.
Oh, but with those final mana cannon shots, Soren was sadly Soren was sadly shot out of the sky. And that means that Ica will obtain the victory in the second round, and with that also in the match overall. And that means that we have a winner for the very first official Airship Kings Adrift PvP Tournament, and it is Ica, who is now officially the queen of PvP.
Congratulations!
And so, now I will briefly force you to answer more questions.
Right.
Well, basically, what I want to like ask you is like, we've seen we've seen like the PvP side of things, and I think we did a pretty good deep dive into it. But what is like your main focus with the game, and where do you want to take it?
Yes. It will be the single player games, of course. The actual scope of the game actually it's I'm still adhering to everything that was written on the Steam page, and that is we'll have single player story and world building focus gameplay with a lot of place to explore, sandboxes. So pretty much just going to be this adventure stories with well actually like it's gonna be a sandbox game with a very long, I would say, adventure story in it. So most of the content in the game will get unlocked as you go along with the stories, and then at the end of the game, it will be free to explore, free to do whatever you want. So yeah, the main focus is still the single player aspect of the whole thing. We've actually written half of the dialogue in the game, so the other half will come in probably during next year, and we have all the ships and pretty much most of the buildings and most of the NPCs already created. So, well, yeah, let's cheer up the game designers and give them some more energy so that they can finish all these things as early as they could.
And what I would like to say right now is, if you want to see the game for yourself and try out anything that you have seen on the stream and all the things that Jay just mentioned, the very amazing single player, as I have to say, there is a demo currently ongoing on Steam, and it will be going until mid-December?
Yes, it'll be up until mid-December.
So, if you want to check the world of Airship Kings Adrift out for yourself, you very much have the chance. The Steam link is in the challenge and also available on their Discord, obviously. So if you have the time, please do check the demo out, as it is a very amazing game, and I think when it is fully released, it will be, well, I already said amazing, but I have to repeat it, it will be an amazing game.
Thank you, Bori, for having me today. Also, we are always looking out for more playtesters. So join the Discord channel and be on the lookout for community events to get a chance to go into the playtest branch of the game.
Yes, and to wrap things up, I just want to say thank you, Jay. Thank you for making this whole thing possible. The whole idea of a player running a tournament and having it made official and supported by the developers is something I wasn't expecting, to be fair. So thank you very much.
Yes. Well, yeah. Thanks to you, actually. I've been looking forward to have make a game where players organize things for it for such a long time now. So it was great. Yeah.
Yes. So, and with that, it is time for us to end. Once again, congratulations to Aika for winning this tournament and officially becoming the queen of PvP. And to all the participants, I sure hope you had fun. I know I did. And I will do this again. I just don't know when. And until then, thanks to all of you for watching. I sure hope you had fun. And wherever you might be, have a very good there. Have a good night, day, evening, wherever you may be, and I see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Nighty night.